This is the Pike compound, I guess you'd call it. A couple acres of land, Brookfield Road. Lots for the kids. And there are a lot of kids. Anyway, coming up this ramp here takes you to the studio. So that's a loading ramp, or could be for someone in a wheelchair or on crutches or a cane. Walk around the building. And there are the loading doors. And here are the main doors, main entrance. And through here, you come into the control room. I'll turn on some lights. Here we go. And there are guitars everywhere. What would you expect? Anyone who knows me knows that. Don't make a lifetime living as a guitar player and not collect a few instruments as you go along. So, try to give you the best perspective possible. I'll do from right here. First, I'll bring something up on the screen that I have to work on tonight anyhow. This is the song with the drum sound that keeps fighting me. So, anyhow, while that's loading up, this is some of the rest of the guitar collection over here, which are instruments for the studio. And there are 79 of them. A lot of Telecasters, I love Tellies. And a lot of Les Pauls too. 3 there, and a Nighthawk, and an SG, and another Les Paul out in the other room, which is one of my favorites. You'll love it for sure. And 4 others there. The Spirit, 59 Junior, 57 Junior, and a 99 Special. And of course, you have to have pointy guitars. There's the Larrivee there, the one I got in '86. And there's another Larrivee up there on the couch, and a 339, along with a couple 1930s Gibsons, and a 66, sorry, Gretsch, 6122, and anyway, there are numerous guitars in here. The old reel-to-reel I used to use. Yeah, so everything's loading up on the screen right now. So from your perspective, you're sitting back, and this is pretty much where you work right here. So it's pretty comfortable and
so captivated by the smell of her perfume.
so we got a couple of Tannoy System 215 DMT for mains, as well as a set of System 12s, and a couple power amps hidden in behind, and one stuck on the top there for little ones, and Neumann Nearfields, and a Digidesign C24 interface. That's my human user interface that I prefer rather than using an AWS, which was something I was going to do, but held off on it. So we're still in the control room. This is the outboard gear. There are 7 racks of outboard gear. First rack is mastering mixdown stuff, really, and of course the leftover Roland from the Chaos days. I don't know who was there first, me or you, but anyway. And the Stam SSL bus, compeller, TC Electronic, etc. Old stuff I basically don't use much in that rack very often, but it does come in handy once in a while. This is my EQ rack, except for the Focusrite 3, which is their VCA stereo compressor. That is lovely. Focusrite 2 is a great surgical EQ, and the Warm Audio and the Clark Technique Pultec clones to each of those. And my buddy Chris Yetter in Daytona Beach makes this absolutely amazing tube EQ for mid-range control, an exact replica of the Pultec mid-range. And one old biamp and a stereo Orban. And a couple other things down the bottom, and then a computer rack, monitor interface. I just use one on the board, but it's there in case I need it, the SSL boards. And the interface is 3 of those. There's 48 ins, 34 outs. I use a Westmere as my main computer. It's 24 cores in it, and I use the Neelam as the hard drive farm for backups and whatnot. And central patch bays for the 9625 Switchcraft, which are fantastic. There's a DB25 in the back, and then 2 standard 96-point tiny telephone that are wired into all the patch points out in the recording rooms. There are 48 in the main room alone. Actually, no, there's not. There's 60 in the main room because there's 12 in one panel and 48 in another. In terms of preamps, Avalon VT737. It's okay. The Drummer 1960 is fantastic. I got that off Bruce Swedian, and he had a bunch of them selling off when he started to retire, so I was lucky enough to grab one. I love it. It lives on bass, because you use one U47 into it for mic and the bass amp, and a Countryman Type 85 on another channel for bass tone. It's absolutely incredible. The Traverse audio is actually made in CBS, just outside of St. John's. And Dave Dysart at HHB, which is part of Long McQuaid now, he's a big champion of those also, and he's pushed them all through the Long McQuaid stores. One API 3124 and a Tone Beast. That's enough API for my needs. And a Grace with the matching compressor. 6 of these tube essence ones. They were really good back in the day. I don't know why I've hung on to them, but I have. 6 channels of those for something to do. The DVX and the voice channel thing, I'd use that for talkback mic. It's a Neve 33420 out of an Australian broadcasting board, the 1272 backhand on it. It's nice and warm and crunchy, nice sounding. Doesn't ever overdrive, but it's always a little bit of harmonic distortion in it. The Vintech X73Is are absolutely amazing, and one 1073 stereo, and the Made in England ISA 220s, 2 of those for kick drums, and the 428s, well, 8 channels of those, so that makes it, you know, really flexible. When you need to do a lot of microphone comparisons, you can have at least neutral preamps for it. And 2 of these Focusrite 6, which live on snare drum, because I absolutely adore them. But I also adore them on acoustic guitars too, because they're so clean. They're not as clean as the Grace is, but they are really, really gorgeous. This Audioscape Decomp is an exact replica of the Neve old diode compressor, and it's insane on drums as well as on 2-bus if you need it. And underneath that is 2 of the Dizengoff preamps, where they took a bunch of the old consoles and RC and EMIs, and they parted them out and put them into rack mount consoles, and they're all 2 preamps as well. The TubeTech CL1B is my favorite vocal compressor, but I'm going to have one of the Audioscape V-Comps soon too, so it's going to be hard to decide. The Stam has all the original components of original LA2A and is absolutely perfect. Underneath that is the Symmetrics. The 425 is something from the mid-90s that actually was really, really fantastic for acoustic guitars and a couple other things, like the SS206s that were in that first rack. They do a couple little things really, really well. This Universal Audio Dual LA2 was rebuilt by a guy who was doing all the repair work at Alto Music in New York, where I got it, and he completely gutted them. He put everything exactly in the way an LA2A would be, and of course they came in pairs, and they're linkable, so they're amazing. That's a Universal Audio 1176 Revision AB. Underneath is a clone from my friend Chris Yetter at Audioscape, yet again. And it's even faster than the Rev A, but sounds identical. But of course all you do is just 1/2 notch back in the attack, and it's exactly the same speed. The Dual 1176 is also rebuilt to be dual Rev Fs. Underneath that is the Stam Audio ADGs, which do 3 different revisions of the 1176 in one box, and they work fantastic. Then a Mohawk. Brandon used to make these Mohawk things, and in Portland, Oregon, and they're absolutely beautiful, but he stopped making them since then. And one original LA4 and one original LA3A. Then over here is the guitar rack, but there's a lot more guitar stuff coming yet. That's an 11 rack. The Marshall JMP1 preamp is the finest guitar emulation preamp ever made, because it's not really an emulator, it's all tube. And the Avalon is great for DIing or just direct injecting, you know, guitar for reamping later, or splitting it off or going somewhere else. And there are lots of patch points on the main patch field here to be able to send things anywhere in the whole studio. And underneath that, and of course this is an old Rockman preamp. Who doesn't love those back in the day, right? They're still useful once in a while. The Korg rack tuner is still great. It's still accurate as all hell. And a patch bay for just the guitar stuff, and of course 1/4 inch because it's guitar stuff. Underneath that, a few different effects devices and keyboard modules and whatnot from back in the day also. And last but not least, another DAT machine, because who knows when you want to bring something out and unarchive it. So now that gives you a little bit of a bird's eye view. Oh, acoustic guitars, man. Everything from old J45 and 70s D28, 73 D28, 73 D18 high string up here, and 1935 Gibson and 1936 Gibson, the old Gretsch I mentioned. And this is my workshop here, and this then brings us to part of my microphone locker inside here. In these boxes are 2 414 EBs with the brass capsule, and then down here are just some leftover oldies that are kind of hard to let go of. Most of them are AKGs and a few EVs. and all the DIs, Countryman FET, the Type 85s. And then in this rack here, this is, I had a hand in the design of this particular microphone, and it means a lot to me because of that. It's based on the Neumann U47, but it's notched out in terms of tone, a little dip at 350 hertz and a little spike at 2K and 4K. And I have a red one as well. And so then I can box to it. In addition to it, there's a pair of 451s, a matching set of Bear MC930s, which are my favorite overheads for hard rock. And then other 414s, and then 3 460s, one of which has got the CK1 capsule, the same as, what's his name in Toto, Jeff Porcaro used to use. And then 4 of these CAD, what are they called? M179s, which are also great on toms, but there's more than that there. This is the Neumann cabinet in here, a couple of the U47s, TLM 102s, Neumann UM59, TLM 170, KM 854, a blue, a pair of Neumann Geffel 930s, Ribbons RCA 1942 RCA model 44, Royer, pair of Samars, AEA R84, Fostix printed ribbon. There's another Neumann U89 up there. Kick drum mics, D12E, D112, M82. There's four 421s. 3 of them there. 2 441s, different colors but same microphone. Shure mics, Telefunken M80 as well, my favorite snare mic. M409 for guitar cab, another M82, Crystal 737A from Shure, 1949 or 50, something like that. Anyway, the C12A power supply harness and whatnot is there, and it's a Neumann tube supply for the UM57. So that's some of the mics, and down here is all guitar parts, and it's my workbench, which is in a state, which is no surprise. Oh, a lovely old 1948 Magnatone lap steel, because you never know when you're going to need one, right? Not that I ever have. I just play dobro and the old Gibson. So come around, keyboard, controllers. That's my mobile board to take out with the laptop. The 1978 Wurlitzer I had back in the day and still do. The Les Paul I had when we were kids, still got that. And another one that has not been bastardized by me. 82 was the best year for Les Pauls of all time, of course. And the fridge and the microwave and the toaster oven and the coffee maker and another coffee maker and an old 8-track. That normally is the lounge, by the way, but like Her Majesty here is occupying the space at the moment, so there it is. And the glass gives us full access and view to absolutely everything. Out through here, this is the vocal booth, which is a 9-foot quarter round. So from the corner to the outer wall is 9 feet. And inside, a lowly KM54 and a lovely U67, the only one that I know of in Newfoundland. And I've got a 1960 a Telefunken EF806 small S tube in it. I've got 3 other tubes. That was the one that worked the best. And then KM84, there's a couple of those around. Favorite acoustic guitar microphone for just honest representation of an acoustic guitar. Coming out through the next airlock, this is the